which American colleges have the worst 10-year return on investment, and which American colleges have the best 10-year return on investment. That is the topic of today's video. My name is Craig Meister. I'm a college admissions coach. You can learn more about me and how you can work with me one-on-one throughout the entire college admissions process on my website, which is collegemeister.com. Increasingly, Americans are skeptical of the quality of higher education in the United States and whether or not it is worth the time and money to put themselves, their children, or their grandchildren through 4 years of earning a degree only to come out the other end with potentially no better economic prospects than maybe the student would have or the students would have had they just entered the world of work immediately after high school graduation. So the HEA group has recently analyzed Department of Education earnings data and has created a list of colleges and universities in the United States where students are able to actually, on average, earn more than the average high school graduate after 10 years versus those schools where that is not even possible. Can you believe that there are some colleges and universities in the United States where you could go, earn a degree, in some cases a certificate, but in many cases an actual degree, an AA or a BA or something similar, and actually after 10 years, they're earning less than what the average high school graduate is earning. So that really is a shocker. And there are many, many, many colleges in the United States where the earnings potential on average, this is of course averages, and you always have to remember just past performance does not necessarily indicate future returns, as they like to say. And in your case, it may be different depending on your own personal actions beyond just going to a particular college and earning a degree there. But on average, there are many colleges where the actual 10-year out earnings are not considerably better than what a high school graduate would be earning 10 years out. And that's shocking too, because there are many colleges that, they're above what they would be earning on average if they had just graduated from high school and not gone to college. But you would think it would be quite a bit above what a high school graduate would earn after 10 years. But there are many, many colleges where that is not the case. So let's talk about this in greater depth. I am looking at the sheet right now. I'm going to include a link to it below in the video description section. But I want to just highlight a few examples that really caught my eye as I am perusing this particular document. Currently, the earnings of a high school graduate 10 years out look like they're $32,000 per year. And the median earnings after 10 years after enrollment are also listed on this particular spreadsheet. Again, many of the colleges where the earnings are below 32,000 are colleges or institutions where just a certificate is given, not even a bachelor's or an associate's. But like I said, there are a number of institutions where you can earn not just an associate's, but a bachelor's degree, and you are still not that much better off than a student who just graduated high school. So it pains me to say this, but a college that I love this college, but it's the facts are the facts, and this is the data that's been collected. St. John's College, which is in New Mexico and Maryland, it's known for philosophy, basically reading the great books and the classics. And that may be fun and all, and you could be very successful with that. But on average, 10 years later, the cohort that was surveyed is only earning the median, this is the median, not the mean, but the median earnings 10 years after enrollment are $41,000 per year. That's not so impressive after going to St. John's for 4 years. Now, you could make the argument that, well, maybe some of these people are independently wealthy and they're not as concerned about earning a lot of money, so it's skewing the data. Or maybe they are getting married and they're a housewife or something, and it's skewing the data, or house husband, I guess that could be too. And that could be though true of all of these colleges. But on average, again, median average, 41,000 is pretty pathetic if you think about it in the context of 32,000 being the earnings of a high school graduate. So that's St. John's. That's a shame because I do love their curriculum, but I never said it was going to be, I guess, hugely profitable for you. But the curriculum is wonderful, especially in a world in which the classics and critical thinking are not valued. Bard College. Bard College is another one. That's up in New York. $42,000 on average. 42.8. Okay, 42,825. 10 years out. That's not so impressive for what Bard costs retail. Bard College. Wow. Hampshire. I'm not surprised at Hampshire. I mean, they almost went out of business. Hampshire College. They are. I'm assuming they're still in business, but they consistently have issues. And it's very, it's one of those colleges that changes lives. So you don't necessarily want to read that book if you're looking to make a lot of money. But what I will say is the Hampshire College, $43,004. Guilford College, another college that changes lives ostensibly, $43,005. Again, compared to $32,000 and not having to have even step foot in a college, seems like to me that's not a good idea, and somewhat concerning. Liberty University, so that's obviously a well-known institution that has a very specific worldview. 45,000. 45. Now they obviously have a larger cohort of students in being surveyed relative to some of these other schools where it's a much smaller cohort of students that are being surveyed. So just keep that in mind. Averages usually matter more the larger the sample size. Culinary Institute of America, CIA, not the CIA you may be worried about, but the CIA that actually involves being in the kitchen, 45,656. 10 years out. MICA, Maryland Institute College of Art. I mean, again, artists are often referred to as starving artists, and MICA in Maryland, in Baltimore specifically, only 45,668 10 years out for a very expensive art school, by the way. Sarah Lawrence. Again, Sarah Lawrence likes to make political statements often, but they don't necessarily focus as much on the 10-year earning potential of their graduates because they're in New York, a very expensive state, only $47,659 on average median earnings 10 years after enrollment. When again, you could just graduate high school and not even go to college and be $32,000. Well. Now let's look at the other side of the spectrum. Again, there are many that are in the 50,000 range, the 60,000 range, which again, I'd argue is somewhat concerning as well. You would hope to at least double what you would be. Ooh, what was that beeping? Is this what's happening? Are we breaking down? I don't know what's happening. Sorry. But whatever the case may be, you would hope that the situation would be where you'd at least be doubling what a high school graduate would be making. But wow, to be in the 50s, you're still not even doubling it if the high school graduate's making 32. And there are many very well-known schools, respectable schools that have great name recognition that are only giving you about 55,000 earnings 10 years out. 10 years out. I mean, schools like Oregon, University of Oregon. I just am randomly picking on the list now. I'm just scrolling through the list. Well-known both state schools and private schools, large schools and small schools. 58,000 at Arizona State. University of Oklahoma, 59,000. Let me just type in a few other well-known schools. Like, why don't I type in a small one? Oberlin, 52,000. Oberlin. That's concerning. Wow, that is concerning. Let's get up into the higher range. We have schools, once we hit 80,000, Richmond and Emory and Amherst. So there we're getting some traction here. We're well over double 32,000, right? We're over 64,000 by quite a bit at that point. And then Johns Hopkins at 89,000 and at Washington University in St. Louis, 90,000. So now we're getting into a place where a lot of my kids are applying to these schools. And you should thank me if you work with me because I'm not going to mess around with schools that are jokes. Then we have schools like Princeton at 110,000, Carnegie Mellon 111,000 10 years out, Babson, Bentley, Penn. Penn is probably the most well-known of the highest ranking. They're at 112,000. And, Stanford, Stevens Institute of Technology, other schools that I really like and talk about a lot, Colorado School of Mine, a lot of these schools are well represented here in the top cohort, if you will, of ROI schools. At the very tippity top, you have very specific small institutions, Harvey Mudd, as I mentioned, Penn. We have Samuel Merritt University. We have University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy in St. Louis. These are very niche programs, and it's not surprising because they're producing students who are in demand in their very specific industries. But in terms of very more general institutions, Stanford, Penn, Babson, Bentley, Stevens Institute of Technology, even Lehigh. There are Santa Clara, as I've mentioned in another video recently. Duke, there are a lot of schools that are serving you up to make triple or higher of what the average high school student would make 10 years out from graduation. So why am I talking about all this? I'm talking about it because it should be one of many factors you're considering. Again, maybe you come from a very wealthy family and you're not so concerned about you or your students' earning potential 10 years out from college or university, or you have other goals in mind for you or your student, and that is completely fine. But considering the cost of college in the United States right now, and AI and all the ways in which that is going to continue to transform the job market and the world of work and one's earning potential, one has to be really realistic about not grabbing on to a sinking ship. And I strongly recommend that if you would like to maximize your chances of being independently capable of caring for yourself financially 10 years out from graduating college, you should definitely focus your efforts on earning admission to colleges at the pinnacle of this list, because that is going to most likely put you in an atmosphere. It does not guarantee anything, but it may put you in an atmosphere where both inside the classroom and outside the classroom, you will be able to absorb the culture that would allow you to most likely find yourself 10 years out earning money on your own, respectively, a respectable amount of money. Now, with that said, as we know, there are plenty of people who are extremely successful financially who have not even gone to college, and who have gone to college and maybe dropped out, or have gone to no-name colleges. And all of that is possible. That does not mean you cannot be in that cohort as well. But if you want to best position yourself for a strong undergraduate education, I would strongly recommend focusing on the colleges at the pinnacle of this list, because there's something in the water, as they say. It might be the actual quality of the education in the classroom. It might be the peers that you're surrounded by, and you may have positive peer pressure. It may be the networking effects of being in a community with other successful people from successful families with a particular work ethic or disposition or what have you. It may be a combination of those factors. But I certainly, for my own child or me, I would want to be in a situation where I find myself in a striving environment where people care about being able to be self-sufficient financially for themselves upon graduation and for decades to come. And just statistically speaking, you will find probably more of that at the schools where you're getting numbers like 90,000 plus 10 years out on this list. Now, again, inflation will continue, numbers will change. Some colleges will go down in the rankings, some colleges will go up in these particular rankings, but it's definitely worth having this particular rankings at your disposal so that you can peruse them carefully, and so that you can also make sure to calculus that in, if you will, or factor that in to your decision-making process as you build out a college list of safeties and possibles and reaches that are as attractive to you as possible for the myriad of reasons that you are considering going to a particular college or university. If you would like to work with me on your college list and help you get in a position where you have strong safeties, you have strong possibles, you have strong reaches, and ones that you would be happy to attend any of them, and that you don't feel like you're compromising on much, if at all, on even your safeties, then I encourage you to go to my website, collegemeister.com, to learn about me and how you can work with me one-on-one throughout the entire college admissions process. You can also like this video. I would greatly appreciate it. And also subscribe to my channel if you enjoy the content today. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and most importantly, stay stress-free throughout the entire college admissions process.